Good morning, Mr. Dews.
Good morning.
My name's Madeline Driscoll. I'm just going to be asking you a few more questions and then we'll get you out of here, okay?
All right.
I want to start out by talking about something you mentioned on direct examination, okay? You told us a little bit about an argument you heard, right?
Yeah, there were two arguments. Which one are you talking about?
I want to talk about that second one, Mr. Dews, when you weren't actually with Jordan and Parker, okay?
Right, I just walked by.
That's right. Well, you walked past Jordan and Parker that second time, right?
Yes.
You'd say that was about 4:25 p.m.?
Yeah, about 4:25, 4:30ish.
You headed up towards Calkins Rock Overlook, correct?
Yeah, I was heading towards this spur, and it looked like it was going to have a great view of the surrounding countryside.
Mr. Dews, you walked for 15 minutes, right?
Yeah, about 15 minutes.
And that's when you heard that argument you told us about on direct examination, right?
Parker's screaming, yeah.
That was 15 minutes later, right?
Yes.
Mr. Dews, of course, because you were 15 minutes away, and like you told us on direct examination, that area was pretty wooded. You couldn't see Jordan.
Objection, compound question.
Your Honor, the facts are in evidence.
At this point, 15 minutes away, it was wooded. I'm going to allow that. I don't think that it's, I mean, sure, it could be parceled out more, but I'm going to allow the question.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Dews, because that area was pretty wooded, you couldn't see Parker and Jordan when you heard that argument, right?
Yeah, I couldn't see them.
You couldn't see what they were doing?
No, I couldn't see them.
Mr. Dews, you don't know what happened directly before that argument, do you?
I did not.
You don't know what caused that argument?
No.
You don't know what happened directly after that argument, right?
No, just Parker screaming.
Mr. Dews, you know that it's not all that out of the ordinary for a teenager to get frustrated with their parent, right?
I don't have a teenager, but I was pretty ill when I was a teen, so yeah.
Mr. Dews, you don't know if after that argument they just walked back to camp together, do you?
I didn't see Jordan or Parker again, so no, I can't say.
Mr. Dews, like you just said, you didn't see Jordan and Parker again that day, right?
No, I didn't.
So when you were walking back to camp, you never saw Parker Page wandering around that forest alone?
No, I didn't.
You didn't see Jordan Ryder alone, did you?
No.
In fact, Mr. Dews, the only time you saw Jordan and Parker on the LaCrone Loop, well, they were together, right?
Yeah, they were arguing, but they were together.
Now, Mr. Dews, when you got back to camp, you saw a hiker, right?
So when I got back to camp, I saw Armani. I think she owned the campground.
Well, you saw another hiker as well, didn't you?
There was no hiker I saw before I went onto the trail, but I didn't see anyone after I got back except for Armani.
Mr. Dews, is it your testimony you didn't see a hiker sitting by a campsite by the stream when you walked back to your campsite?
No, I don't think I did.
Do you remember preparing an affidavit before today's trial?
Yeah,
Would you recognize that affidavit if I showed it to you?
I would.
Your Honor, I'm approaching opposing counsel with the witness's affidavit. Which lines? Approaching the witness with the same. Mr. Dews, what have I just, that's your affidavit, right?
Yes.
Appears to be a fair and accurate copy of that affidavit.
Yeah.
Hasn't been changed since the last time you saw it, right?
I don't think so.
That's your signature on the back?
It is.
Mr. Dews, you were under oath when you prepared this affidavit, right?
Yeah.
The same oath you're under today?
Yes.
Now, if you could please turn to page 4,
Okay.
and read along silently as I read aloud, lines 104 to 107.
Of course.
I arrived back at the campsites around 6:30 p.m. As I walked towards Armani Rodriguez's cabin, I saw a red Chevy pickup truck with a tarp folded up on the truck bed floor, and the hiker I saw earlier by one of the campsites near the stream. Did I read that correctly?
Yes, I'm sorry, I forgot.
Objection, Your Honor. At this point to improper impeachment, the witness asked for his memory refreshed and opposing counsel impeached him.
Well, splitting hairs. He didn't remember. She has cleared that up. Whether or not it's how effective the impeachment is to be determined, but it's the record will stand as it does.
Your Honor, I'm collecting the affidavit. Mr. Dews, so you did see that other hiker, right?
Yeah, it's the same hiker I saw before I entered the trail for the first time.
That's right. You don't know this hiker's name, though, do you?
I couldn't tell you.
You don't know what they were doing there.
I don't.
You don't know where they were when Parker Page died.
No.
You don't know if they were with Parker Page when she died, do
I
you?
never saw them at Parker Page.
Now, Mr. Dews, you did talk to Armani Rodriguez, though, right?
Yeah, that's the person I rented the cabin from eventually.
That's right, that's the campground owner.
Yes.
And Mr. Dews, when you talked to Armani Rodriguez, you didn't ask him if he had seen Jordan or Parker, right?
No, I didn't.
So you don't know if Armani Rodriguez actually saw Jordan and Parker together at the campground later that night, do you?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Mr. Dews, the next morning, you saw police officers, right?
Yeah, that's when they showed me the picture of Parker and said that she was missing.
That's right, they said this girl is missing, right?
Yeah, they told me she was missing, and I told them where I saw her on the trail. That's where I took them.
That's right, so you brought them on a search party, right?
Well, I didn't bring them on a search party. I helped them with the search party. I certainly wasn't leading. Don't want you to think that.
That's right, Mr. Dews, you joined that search party, right?
Yeah.
When police officers found Parker's body, well, you heard them talking, right?
Yeah, I heard them talking once they found Parker's body. I was close by. I wasn't with them when they found it, but they went over to him.
Mr. Dews, you'd say this was around noon on July 15th, right?
Yeah, about noon.
Mr. Dews, at noon on July 15th, you heard a police officer say, Jordan Ryder never should have gotten out.
Objection, Your Honor, as to hearsay.
Response? Your Honor, we're not using this statement for the truth of the matter asserted. Of course, as the defense, we're not interested in proving that Jordan Ryder never should have gotten out of prison. We're using this for the fact that the statements were said. It impeaches the credibility of the police investigation.
Your Honor, that's the truth value they're using this statement for. As such, it is an out-of-court statement being used for the truth of the matter asserted.
Who's purported to have made the statement?
A police officer, Your Honor.
They're using these statements to show police bias. That is a truth value.
No, I don't necessarily agree with that. I'm going to allow it for the purpose.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Crawford.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, Mr. Dews, you heard a police officer say, Jordan Ryder never should have gotten out, right?
Yeah, I heard one of the officers say that.
Mr. Dews, at 12 p.m. on July 15th, you heard a police officer say, I can't believe Jordan Ryder did this, right?
Yeah, I guess there was some disagreement.
Thank you. Your Honor, I have nothing further.
Any redirected witness?
No, Your Honor.